Hey Copper Nerds, let's do a deep dive into the Sheldon 36. I love this one even though it's not particularly nice, but we'll look at some nice ones as well. Let's get into it. Well, happy Halloween for those of you who watch this today, assuming I get this all edited and posted today. Doing the recording in the morning and hoping to do the editing in the evening, because I'll be working tonight. My wife owns a bar restaurant. Halloween's one of her big events of the year, so I'm getting ready for that. And this is my first video after we hit our 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for that. But I'm not going to ramble too much because I consider these deep dives to be part of the library of information that I'm building for this channel. And the goal is for 1794 collectors in the future to really have a good resource to learn more about their varieties in an enjoyable format if you enjoy listening to me ramble, but also because we're going to go through some very expensive books here, some of which are impossible to find at present, specifically Chuck Heck's Die States book. So let's talk about the Sheldon 36. I like to start off with the Powers Attribution Guide. Such a cool reference. I like my spiral bound version, but we will check the current edition for updates as well. I see I have it buried under a bunch of stuff, so I might have to look around for it for a second, but those books sure stack up. Anyway, here it is. If you've watched my cherry picking guide for 1794s, which if you haven't, I suggest that you do, you're going to note one of our big key diagnostics, which is the single berry reverse. This particular coin's dark and kind of hard to see, but you know what? Through the magic of editing, let's do a nice zoom on a single berry reverse. So when you see a single berry, you know it's a rare variety. This one's the low head, and you can see that the head sits a little bit low. Some other ones do too. I mean, the Sheldon 37's a fairly low head as well. Different obverse, of course, but low head, single berry, that's your main diagnostics on this one. RT is widely spaced. One is a bit distant from the hair. Four is squashed between the bust and the dentals. As far as the reverse, again, single berry is key. And with that, let's look at the updated Powers book. And if you want to get that one, you're going to get a hold of Mr. Powers at eacbookusa@hotmail.com. Where did I put this other book? I suspect it's this one. I have all of them, so nope, that's the wrong one. Maybe it's in this stack. Yeah, it is. Okay, I think this is going to be it. This is it. So the new version is paperback and bound, and has some additional features such as die states and little inset close-ups of diagnostics. 36. All right. Oh, we got a little double dental on the reverse that they're giving us a zoom of as well. Interesting. So R and T are wide, 4 nearly touches the dental. A little less diagnostic information in the update, but the photo of the double dental on the reverse. Above the AM in America. That's pretty neat. Let's take a look and see if we can make that out on mine. I'm looking around the camera. Oof. Yeah, kind of, but not so much. I will try to remember to get a good zoom of that for you, but sort of hard to make out on mine, but we'll see what we can get through the camera. All right, moving on from the Powers book. Put you where you're safe. into Breen's Encyclopedia. So, Sheldon 36, 35, NC1, 36. The crowded 4 variety. It is kind of smushed in there because the head's low, right? It's often called the low head, but crowded 4 makes sense. I think it's kind of referring to the same thing. And single berry reverse. Single berry left a bow, and that only appears on 2 reverse dies, all of which are rare. Looks like our obverse information, they're saying obverse 14. Okay, so again, your other appearance of this obverse is going to be on the NC1, and it is also a single berry. Interesting. I need to study this one a little more. It's you could easily end up with an NC if you just were like, oh, it's a single berry and a low head. If you didn't dig further, because I haven't on mine, honestly. I got mine from Dan Trollin, so I'm sure that it's correctly attributed, but something to study. Right, so it's reverse M, and then reverse N must be what we're seeing on the 36, reverse N. So we have the first style of single berry reverse creating the NC1. Keep a close eye out for that because it would be very easy to see the low head and a single berry reverse and just assume that you're dealing with a 36. So that is a huge takeaway from this video because I won't be doing a separate one for NC1. But if you're considering a 36, you should be considering an NC1. Crowded 4 between the bust and border. Let's see, several curl points, 2nd to 5th, have split ends. Third lock is longest and 5th is next longest. Heavy shoulder loop. Hollow area in the hair right of the lowest point of the cap. LI are close. IB is high. RT are unusually far apart. With reverse M, this variety is instantly identifiable by lacking either the rim break above LI or the delicate lowest lock. Okay. So then we got to jump back up here. They've got some die state stuff, which we're going to look at in HEC. Looks like the condition census has a couple in AU and then drops all the way down to the VF territory. I look forward to our next book, the noise book, where we'll look at some of these condition census examples. And by the time we're at the bottom of the census here, we're into a VG10. I think we're going to find that these are very difficult to find in any respectable condition. And as you will note, my example is fairly low grade, but plenty diagnostic. Okay, let's jump into noise. Almost there. That's my coin. Boop. Sheldon 36. Low head. Told you that's what we often see. Berry left the bow. Lowest right leaf points to C. Lowest right leaf points to C. Yeah, this one does. This one's not an NC, guys. It is not. Let's look back at the Sheldon 35 just so we can see where the leaf points at on that previous. Oh, it goes between C and A, it looks like. Whereas over here, they're both pointing right at C. Tracking. All right, condition census examples. There's our top two, so noise is a tough grader, usually 5 or 10 points off. So Breen was talking about a couple of AUs, like an AU55 and a 50. Noise is going to call those an AU50 and an XF40. And I agree with noise. That's down into XF territory because there's something going on, perhaps environmental damage, perhaps it's not circulation. It's a tough one. It definitely would net down for that though. I could see a third party saying, well, it's not worn, it's just a details coin. But in EAC, we would net it down a little further. The top row are, not as impressive as most top rows. Even on the Sheldon 37, which is rarer, nicer looking examples. Well, maybe not actually. That's got a little more circulation wear. Oh gosh, that's a fine 15 looking at the one on the right. These two are quite nice. These rarities can be so difficult to find. That's why 1794 collecting is neat, because sometimes the nicest examples out there, I mean, again, you want the third finest Sheldon 37. You're going to spend like, close to $100,000 on that coin, and it's a fine 15. It's pretty wild. Okay, so our first page, we're down to very fine 25s on the bottom row. Oops. And then down to VG10 and VG10s. On the next page, we're down to VG8s. And that's where we end, I'm sure. Yes. So when we get down to 18th in the condition census, we're looking at a VG8. And, he's calling that scudsy, huh? I'd call that average for a coin of that condition. This one's kind of scudsy looking, but he calls it average minus. Average minus, and scudsy. That one looks like it just needs a little acetone to get some gunk off of it, but these ones, that's environmental damage. Okay, so these are tough to find in any nice condition. Let's jump into Hex Book and see what's happening with die states. Sheldon 36, page 94. I'm not aware of any major die states on these, but we shall see. Sheldon 36. Mars called it the crowded date. All right, die state 1, we have a perfect obverse, and then the reverse always has a short scratch or graver's mark coming from dental number 7. All right, there is that little mark. You see it above the A. Okay. Several short scratches appear to the right and below the N in cent. So you see those, oops, right there. And then 2 parallel scratches like an equal sign between the 2 leaf clusters here. Interesting. And then the double dental at 62 and 3, which we've talked about before, but it is right there. Okay. Die state 2, some clash marks. You see them right there. That's a fairly common area to see clash marks on 1794s, is the wreath behind the hair and by the cap. It's also common to see them under the chin, but I don't see that here. And reverse clash marks. We got some going there and there. Those types of clash marks are usually tough to see once you have any level of environmental damage or, circulation below an XF. And Something tells me this might be the uneventful end. It is. You know, not a lot of these were struck. It's a rare variety, so sometimes we don't get to see that many die states on low production varieties. And then we jump into Sheldon 37, which is the rarest. And I typically do deep dives for coins that I have so I can handle one and show it off. I think that's kind of fun. But at some point, I'll probably start filling in on deep dives for coins that I don't have. And the Sheldon 37 is one that I'm not going to have until the very end. It will be the last variety that I get. I'm at 49 right now. But there's nothing particularly remarkable about this one. It's got the single berry, but so does the 36. It couldn't be more comparable to the 36, really. There's not a whole lot outside of the date spacing that stands out to me at a glance that makes 37 special. Whereas 38 has that cool marred field and single berry. I have a fairly nice, like a good mid kind of Sheldon 38. We'll do a deep dive on that one next, most likely, because I'll skip the 37. But 36 was, you know, interesting, but sort of uneventful. I think the big takeaway, again, is low head, single berry. You should be looking for 36, 37. Date spacing, again, if you see those, this is not quite as low of a head, of course, but if you see a comparable looking coin that doesn't attribute as a 36 when you're cherry picking, definitely check out 37 with that single berry reverse and the widely spaced date. But yeah, this one kind of ended uneventfully, even though I think it's a fun variety. But we will keep digging into these. Appreciate you checking this one out. And I will look forward to talking to you a bit in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.